You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 120, Face Reveal Party, an interview with Erik Larsen.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that is slowly running out of social media platforms. My name is Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
I'm Raven Perez.
Welcome again to another episode of the Savage FINcast, the internet and, yes, the internet. That's where we are. The internet's only Savage Dragon and Erik Larsen based podcast. We have got a very special episode for you. We are going to be once again listening to the man, the myth, the legend, Erik Larsen, in another interview extravaganza. So, anything you guys want to talk about before we get into it, or just go straight to interview?
I think we should go straight to the interview because I'm super excited. We haven't talked to him in about a year, so I think
I literally can't believe it's been that long. I could have swore we did one with him previous, but we didn't. We haven't done an Erik interview since last December.
You know, it's amazing. 10 years of the Savage FINcast, and I think we bothered Erik like maybe 12 times.
Well, yeah, that sounds about right. About once a year. I think a couple times we might have been twice a year, but for the most part, about once a year.
Yeah.
Always feels like more, honestly. That guy
and he's always willing to come on. I think it's just, it would probably be good to do a couple times a year instead of waiting once. This year is kind of a little different because there just wasn't enough to talk about, I feel like, issue-wise. But he seems like he's always down to join us, and it's always fun to pick his brain. The problem is you do it too much, and you run out of things to talk about. But
yeah,
I think we keep it good at a couple times a year.
You can only ask about that Spider-Man webbing so many times.
And the Johnson twins.
And the Boom Pow Tacos origin.
See, we're repeating ourselves already. Let's get to the interview.
Thanks for jumping on, Erik. I feel like it's been almost a year since we talked to you last. I feel like in the world of published comics, we haven't gotten much out of you, but I also feel like there's a lot going on behind the scenes with certain things that we'll talk about, hopefully, maybe, no.
Whatever, man.
We'll weasel it out of you.
So, I don't know. I guess let's start. It seems like there's a lot of things to talk about. Let's start with Savage Dragon. I mean, we've gotten, since we last talked to you, we got 261 and 262 out. And then I also know that you've been working on the Ultimate Collection. And it seems like that's been taking out a lot of your time with like the sketchbook section and everything.
Way too much time. Way too much time. No, it's just crazy. Well, first, like 8 of the issues needed to be recolored.
Ooh.
Something like that. And so I got all those files, and I was like, well, this isn't right. let me show you a thing or two. And I start jumping in there and tweaking stuff.
So I'm actually really curious about the recoloring process. So you had to do it entirely from scratch, or there was anything you could salvage, or was just
there was the black and white line art which existed,
right?
As we did the Savage Dragon archive books. Part of the problem with using those, however, is that I swapped in zipatones for a lot of effects.
Right.
So, like when there's a star field, there'd be a zipatone with stars burned through it. And so, if you're trying to recreate the way the comics were, that's something of an issue. It's like that's not exactly the way it was. And then there was the, well, do we going to match the real first issue, or are we going to try to match the way it was recolored when it was in this trade paperback or whatever? Because it was recolored immediately for the first trade paperback, because all the pages were shuffled around and put in chronological order in that. And it just seemed like, well, this is going to look really weird if you have these two drastically different coloring styles and it keeps flipping from one to the other. So let's just pick a lane and do that.
How many issues are going to be collected in the first volume?
13, which is what Robert Kirkman's been doing with everything he's done. And so it seemed like, hey, let's emulate that and make it like this is an Image thing. So Robert wrote the introduction too. So it's like, all right, whatever. If that's what you want to do, if that's the way you like it, let's do that. And then he did so many sketchbook things in the back that it ballooned out way bigger than it should have been. Whatever.
Did I say it was like 40 pages of like extra sketchbook material?
It's way crazy because they're all double page spreads of sketchbook stuff, and there ended up being like 88 total pages or something. So it's like it just keeps going on and on and on. You're just like, Jesus, man, enough. And some of it, I'm like, I don't know if you guys will think this is interesting or not.
Oh, but I'm pretty sure people will find it interesting.
Oh yeah.
So
Anything we can get our hands on.
Yeah, so it's a lot of stuff that has never been seen by the public before.
Bunch, but a lot of it's like shittier versions and stuff you have seen too. So it's like, here's the layouts I did, and some of them I didn't use. So there, in some cases, there's pages in the back there where I'm like, all right, so I did this layout. I kind of like this one little dude here, but I didn't like the rest of it. So then the next one, there's the same page, and it's got big fucking yellow tape on it because tape is turned terrible after 30 years. And then it's like, and then here it is again with, it's like, good God, man, who cares? And if you have the other books, I didn't necessarily was able to find everything that was in those sketchbook sections. So there's still going to be stuff where you go, well, wait a minute, where's this one? It's in the sketchbook. It's like, sorry, I couldn't find it.
So how is the format on? Does this have letters pages, or is it straight story?
No letters pages, and it's really like kind of like the other trades that I've done, but way fatter. Mm-hmm. So it starts with here's the credits, here's the introduction, here's a bullshit spacer page just to take up a page. Story starts and it just one story barrels into the next. There's no breaks for covers. It's just bam, here's 13 issues, one after another. It's in the order of the Dragon 99-cent book, so it's all chronological. It just barrels ahead. You get all 13 issues. It ends on issue 8, so Rapture's going, oh, Dragon, you okay? And he's all fucked up. And that's the end of volume 1. And then I think it's sketchbooks after that. I'm not sure. I think it's sketchbooks.
You didn't include any of the like important backups?
Oh no, everything's there, man. I'm just saying. Then it's sketchbooks, then it's covers, I think, and then it's the vital backups.
Okay.
So nice. I mean, there's always more shit that could have been in there. Like, oh, there's a pinup that Jay Lee did. And it's like, is there room for that? Well, we would have to add 16 pages in order to include that. So it's like, well, let's not.
Well,
I kind of like that there's something to be left to the actual single issues.
Yeah, there's stuff that's in the single issues that you'd be like, oh, there's pinups that aren't in this book.
you're not going to have 88 pages of sketches in every volume, so.
No, there won't be that, and there won't be. I don't think there'll be backups in any subsequent book because I don't know that there are any backups that are that.
Yeah.
Story vital. You know.
Those early ones were a lot more important.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this is kind of setting up Mighty Man. This is setting up, where Rapture came from, stuff like that. And those, and it's like some of those needed to kind of be recreated. And we were at the point where it's like, well, we don't have time for this. I'm like, I'm just going to scan in my comics and clean it up as best I can. So the backups may look a little funky when you get to the end of the.
That's fair enough. Because they're extras.
Beautiful, but it's like they're as beautiful as they can be.
Better to have them than not. I mean, for sure.
Well, that's what it was. It was like, a bunch of different things like that, okay, we're going to have to scan this in. And then there was other stuff where the colorist was trying to recreate it. It's, like, oh, I'm doing my own Starfield, man. And it's like, no, you're not. Taking that out and here's the one from the actual original art, which I still have, and I can scan in and recreate. Sorry. So the coloring is in some cases a little weird. Somehow or other, we ended up getting files for a different colored version of Savage Dragon number 5. So it's colored by Abel Mouton, and there are places in it where it's real close to what was in the comic, but looking through it, it's like, I don't remember there being those weird knockouts. What the hell is this all about? So at some point we had Abel recolor issue 5. I was thinking it was for some collection, but it may have just that we needed it for some foreign reprints. So rather than get it recolored yet again and pay for that yet again, it's like, I guess we're going with Abel's recolored. So
because it's already done and usable.
It's done. It's usable. It looks good. And it's a little off from what you've seen in the comics, but tough shit.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, the challenge of these always was the coloring. So I think we can accept that it needed to be done regardless of how,
Yeah.
Or it's not going to happen.
Coloring is such a goddamn nightmare on all fronts because coloring is much more advanced than it was. And it's different than it was. The old stuff was colored by Oleoptics, and they were using this system called Cod Barrett. And Cod Barrett had these weird limitations where it would stick in this, like some of the gradients, there would be this weird banding and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then you look at it and go, God, that's weird that it looks like that. That's kind of cool. And then it's like, well, are we going to try and recreate that banding? Because it does look kind of cool, but we can't really do that. So I guess we're not. and then just the whole color program was so weird. If you're looking through the old issues of Dragon, occasionally you'll come to something where you go, that seems like a weird choice to have there be a colored jag on something. Like in issue 2 of the ongoing Savage Dragon book, there's a close-up on Dart's face, and there's like this weird triangle like across her chin, and it's like, what the fuck did that come from? and this Cod Barrett system was such that if you're coloring something one color and then you put another color, and for some reason you chose exactly that pixel for where you're going to have the corner, but it's the same pixel that was on the other color, it would
mess it up,
not let you do it. So you would end up going, I had this color that was supposed to go from here to here. I can't use that pixel, so it's going here. And it's like, what the hell's going on there? But there's some panel in issue 1 where Dragon's walking away from Frank or something. In the background, there's just this big diagonal thing that's there, And then when these colors are doing it, they're like, I'm recreating that. And I'm like, no, you're not. It's like, I can't put that the way it should have been. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, see that? They dropped a pixel there on her chin.
That's
So-
weird as hell.
That's where that goes on.
When you're prepping these books, are you going through the issues and taking notes on everything that got screwed up that you want to fix for the final?
A lot of it, yeah. And even in stuff where I'm sitting there going, because initially Robert's or whoever's like, I don't know, we weren't going to run the covers at one point. And it was like, no, we got to run the covers, and we have some of the colors that are colored, so let's run them. And then it was, well, we don't have them all, so we're going to get them recolored. We're going to scan them in, or what are we going to do? And so in some cases, they will be scanned in covers too. But I was like, I'm scanning in the cover to issue 2, going, God, it's always bugged me that one of the Ninja Turtles, like the logo looks fucked up. Their logo, there's like this big red bandana across it that isn't across it because the logo's on top. And it was like, oh, I can fix that. I got Photoshop. Let me do that. So I'm just
like the color layer has bled through.
I can fix this now. This is all possible. And I just ended up spending way too much time. And in cases where they simplified stuff, I'm like, oh, I got to add that back. I got to do that. Or I can do a better job than that. or even the printed comics, like, oh, let me fix that.
So is it done at this point?
And it's like, do we hyper obsess on getting this right, or do you really want that original comic book experience? It's like, well, if you want the original comic book experience, I highly recommend buying the original comics. They exist and they are in plentiful supply. There are tons and tons of them,
especially these ones.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah, I think I have 5 or 6 different versions.
Yeah,
not so much the later ones.
But if there's a situation where I'm sitting there looking at a page going, that was supposed to be Dragon's hand, not Frank's hand.
That one, yeah. I remember that one. We reviewed that in a retro.
It's just like, I'm trying to find little things here and there, but it's like, it's driving me mad, all of it. And it just took way too much time out of my life.
So at this point, is volume 1 done?
It's done. It's off to the printer. I've got no excuse except that there are certain things that drive me wild in terms of sitting there actually trying to draw stuff and get it done. Because there's just stuff that the nice thing about doing books set in real time is that characters age, they change. So it's always like, oh, the book is kind of a different book now, because this is different and that's different and whatever. But there still ends up being these recurring things that you can't help but have to do. And some of them at this point are just driving me up the fucking wall. I'm just going, really? I have to draw another funeral? God damn it.
The crazy thing, too, though, is...
goddamn funerals and anything. This is ridiculous. What angle can I use to draw this funeral? Who needs to be there? What do they look like now? Everybody's getting older, for crying out loud.
Well, when the book was mostly like adults, it's not that big a deal. But when you have like small kids, 6 months to a year is a big change for, the kids.
Little kids, it's huge. And then it's like, well, I haven't really established what Barbaric and Ricochet's kids look like, or even how many there are and what stage they're in. It's like, holy fuck, I have no idea. Super Patriot, I guess, has some other twins now. Well, when the hell were they born, and how old are they? Who knows?
Gavin doesn't know?
It's all on the wiki. I could all look that shit up. But
so was the I know you had a case of writer's block, but for the most part, has it been just putting the Ultimate Collection together? That's been kind of pushing your time.
That's been a real big pain in the ass. And then it's just little dipshit stuff that's like, hey, you did a cover for me, now do a cover for you.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I guess I'm doing I hate Fairyland cover. Off we go. Which is fine. You know, it's like I made the commitment to do it back and forth, but there just ends up always being little like, well, here's this little fire that needs to put out. Man, this over here. And then now you've got this going on in your life. God damn it. Can I catch a break?
It's like go ahead, sorry. You're gonna say something.
It's all excuses, but you know, the God's honest truth is I just don't want to draw this fucking funeral.
It's like a catch-22 though, because you want to get that ultimate collection out, because the back issue market is insane. There seems like there's all these new readers that want to get back issues and read Dragon, but they're so expensive. And so, you know, I think it's a great idea that you're putting these out, and hopefully it can foster some new readers.
There's a window that it needs to be out. And it's like, you know, Christmas is coming up. You need to have this thing out in December. Early as in December you possibly can. So let's make that happen. It was supposed to be out, I think, late November. And I think it's just a week later than it was supposed to be. So it should be in stores December 7th.
Right around the corner.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then what's the plan? Like, are you trying to put one a year out, two a year, or see how sales go?
I think I would like to do a couple a year, just because if it's one a year, then it's going to be 30 years behind always. Just like, that's no good.
I mean, how many volumes would it take at this point? Like,
well, it was 13 issues roughly, so twice as many as archives.
Yeah,
it would take 20 volumes at least at this point, and that wouldn't be quite caught up.
I need to get another bookshelf.
But, you know, is there enough of an audience to support it all that way?
It better be. There better goddamn be.
Well, there's some chunks in the middle that have.
So I would like it if it was. There are some issues in the middle there that are a little rough. So it's like,
Well, there's some chunks in the middle that have never been reprinted, as far as I know.
What was that?
I said there's some chunks in the middle that have never been reprinted. So presumably, when you get to those, people will want it because they've never been reprinted.
Yeah, there's that too.
I'll buy a couple copies. Help it out.
I bought two.
Yeah.
One to read and one to keep.
It is crazy though how much the back issue market is just. I mean, it's been crazy. Like, I used to be able to pick up a back issue in the 200s or whatever for cover price, and now some of those prices I'm seeing is like absolutely bonkers. And I mean, I'm hoping that these people that are buying them are actually readers and not just speculators. I'm sure it's a little bit of both, but I am encouraged though, seeing, you know, especially during the pandemic, the people that, when new issues of comics weren't coming out, people were looking for long-standing comics, I think, to delve into, and, you know, to get a comic that's 250 issues long. I mean, it's a nice long, you know, reading.
It's a chunk, I'm sure.
And
so, if you're getting stuff digitally too, it's like, oh, okay, that's huge, but I really want to have it in my hands. Like, all right, we're trying. See how long that'll work. You know, I mean, I'd do 3 a year if we could make it work, but I don't know that the numbers would be. I don't even know. Hopefully we don't need to get anything else recolored, because that was a nightmare.
As someone who prefers the singles format, does it bug you that, like, the later run issues, like Malcolm era, like Malcolm Maxine, like the stuff we're in right now, does it bug you that that's like hard as hell to get? Like, if you're not buying it, good luck. The scalpers are going to jack that shit up.
All I can do is put the damn book out, you know. Does it bug me? I would rather it be available. I would rather stores bought more copies of it so that wasn't an issue. But I'm not in control.
Have you ever entertained the idea of maybe Making POD options available.
I don't even know what that is.
The print on demand.
Like Dave Sim does POD, like print on demand of like Cerebus, just to keep it available. Not saying that's the option, it never is, but that way if someone wants a
Aren't
single,
those super expensive though? I don't even know how that works. Honestly, I don't know how that works. So
that's an answer right there. So,
that's my answer. Is I'm just a caveman. It comes down to it. It's like there's so much of this stuff. It's like, hey, are you on this? It's like I've never heard of that.
So no TikTok coming, I assume.
Yeah. It's like, neither dance nor sing.
I saw someone recommend that you get a TikTok to replace your Twitter, and I was like, that's not a good fit.
That's not the same.
It's not. I don't see that.
It's that old Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other. Yeah, those aren't equivalent things.
Aren't all TikToks videos? Like, is that the whole platform?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's
Short
like
ones.
I'm not a 13-year-old girl, man. It's not going to work for me.
Right. Doesn't work.
So with Savage Dragon currently, do you still feel like you're in a writer's block, or do you feel like you've gone beyond that, and are things moving now, or where do you stand on that?
I still have some characters to kill off to really.
Oh no.
It really makes us feel like I'm home free.
Are you getting through 263 at the moment, or?
I'm getting through it, but it's slow going. It's slow going because of the necessary funeral stuff that has to happen. Because it's like, Horridus has been there since early on. You got to do something with her. You can't just be like, I don't want to go. It's like,
Not just Horridus, right? And died too. So there's like.
Yeah, but that one's a weird one because there's nothing but stuff. Everybody blew up.
Right.
Just a jar.
What are we burying here? Do we go in and scoop up everybody? Is there going to be a grave site? And who's in charge? I don't. It's like the girl's, what is she, 12 or something? I don't know how old she is. She's super young.
And she probably is going to have a new guardian of some kind, or is she?
I would think that there would be something that goes on there, but we've really not done anything in terms of establishing any extended family for any of those characters.
Otherwise, Super Patriot's just going to keep throwing her into dangerous situations.
Yeah, he's a good dad.
He's a good dude, that guy. But it's like I've never shown Anne having any family. I've never shown.
What's Phyllis up to?
Oh, Phyllis.
Phyllis's possibility is just, hey, we had her at our guardian, and then that would be, hey, it's a familiar face. Boy, is she blimped out. That sort of thing. She was so young and cute. Now she's not.
It's life.
300 pounds.
Go ahead, Craig.
No, you go ahead, Raven.
Oh, I was just saying, like, this being the 30th anniversary, and the Ultimate Edition definitely feels like a celebratory event. Like, to get that announced in there was fantastic. But of course, being a greedy fan, we were hoping and wondering if there was any kind of other plans or anything. Was there anything you had in mind that sort of just got derailed?
Not really.
By life?
These anniversaries, they just come too often. And so many other times that I've got to the anniversary point, I just totally just shit the bed. So it's like the anniversary issues aren't generally my favorite issues. So especially like the 20th anniversary issue was like, hey, Dragon's back and Overlord's been unmasked and now Dragon's being arrested at the end of the issue. And it's like, that's kind of a shitty issue. That's so good.
We kind of had like a little like roundabout celebration in a way. Like you got Tim Seeley's story in the 30th anniversary. The Hack Slash meets up with Super Patriot, which was kind of cool to get some of your characters in that anthology, because I was bummed when we didn't get a Larsen story in there. It does seem like it's a lot of like new blood, and they're trying to push like the newer books, which is cool. But
no, it's like they had asked if I had anything, and I was like, geez, man, I just can't do it. I just can't just be like, oh, here's some more stuff.
The Super Patriot story, I mean, I feel like it's pretty damn cool. I mean, it sounds like
read it.
It really? So you didn't have any input in the dialogue, or?
No, I saw it and I was like, "What the hell's this?" He must have asked my permission, and I just fucking.
It's really fun though. You can tell he's a fan. I mean, he's referencing Cyber Data, and he's got Cyber Force references, and at the end he meets up with the Project Born Again with the Bloodstrike guys. It feels like a cool little old school Image romp. I really like it, and he's on model with like kind of almost like the Dave Johnson Super Patriot. I feel like it's well done. It's fun.
Are they 3 chapters in now? Did the third one just come out?
Yeah, I didn't get the third one yet. I haven't been able to hit the comic store, but the first 2 were fun, and I was like kind of happy that even though we didn't get a Dragon story in there, at least Super Patriot has got a nice little romp.
Yeah, all right.
Well, he's doing a good job. You didn't read it, but
how's that? I'll read it when I read it.
And then we got to do our Super Freaks book.
That was super awesome.
That was serendipitous.
Yeah, that was nice. Went in and did a little bit of lettering tweaking more than anything. It's like, oh, there's some misspelled words, and some of these fonts aren't the clearest, so let me stretch them a little bit and stuff. I don't know if people were like comparing them to the original, going, hey, wait a minute, that spelling mistake was essential.
Well, we were the quote unquote editors, and we didn't notice. So
yeah, we didn't notice at all. I was like, oh, perfect. Yeah.
I was I really got to thank you for that. I mean, we didn't really get to talk much. We texted back and forth when we first had the idea for Super Freaks. We were like, hey, we did this podcast for 10 years, and we just wanted to do our own little like bootleg thing. Didn't want to like just for ourselves, not selling it, but I did want to text you and be like, hey, are you cool with this? Because I definitely didn't want to do anything that
was
awesome. Heartburn.
It was super awesome.
And
the quality varied somewhat, but it's like, I'm not going to be like, yeah, well, this guy's got to go. It's like, fuck that. It's like, we're all in, man.
It blew me away when you were like, oh, we'll publish this. I was like, whoa, what? Like, this was just supposed to be like, copies just for us and just the listeners and, whatever, just a quick little fun little thing just for the fans. But honestly, when the pages did come in, first of all, I didn't think that anyone, like, I would get half the amount of pages that I did. I thought everyone would be cool doing it, and then everyone would flake out, and nobody flaked out. It was amazing. Like, I was like, how is this possible?
I flaked out, but I got saved at the
end. And the quality was good, and the stories were good, and the thing that I liked about it was that it's real fans, so it's not just like a bunch.
No, it seems super fanny, which is what I like about it.
Yeah,
like, really like these guys read and pretty much understand this book and how it works.
That's what the best thing is. You don't always get that. You usually just get a bunch of indie artists that want to take a shot at somebody's and book and do their own thing. And
yeah, I don't know how you figured it out, but it's nice that it was a real kind of all over the universe too. It wasn't somebody's like, we're all doing powerhouse stories. It was like, no, one guy's into this and the other guy's into that.
It was truly an accident, because we didn't actually tell anybody like what to do or what not to do. We basically said do whatever, and it just turned out that way.
And we just put a spreadsheet together. We said, you're doing a story about these guys. It wasn't like, hey, you do this, you do this. It just came, and like I tried to like mix them so that it was all over.
Said, I want to do this, and you said no. You can't do that. We've already got somebody handling.
Our only rule was you couldn't use something that was already previously published somewhere. So if someone had a pinup or someone had something that they used, we said everything has to be brand new on this.
Yep, everything's got to be brand new. Yep, that was the only real rule we had. Well, it was the only rule we had to. Well, we didn't even have to enforce it, but it was the only rule.
So the funny thing is that Connor, who did the Good Wife story with Maxine,
Yeah, that was so awesome.
It was great. So good.
Kid's a prodigy, right? When I saw it, I was like, "Oh, damn, Connor, you killed it! Like, so good." But what was so funny is that Connor, I had like everybody was expecting me to do something smutty, and I held back on my smutty inclinations because I was like, well, some of these guys might want to show their moms or girlfriends this or something. So I held back, and then like Connor puts this out, and like Maxine's pegging Malcolm and stuff, and I thought you'd get a kick out of the fact that Connor said he had to explain to his mom what was going on. Well, what's happening in this panel, son? Came back to bite him.
Those are hard moments. I'm just
yeah.
thankful that none of my family even looks at my book.
It's a blessing.
No, it's really like I forget sometimes. Like, oh shit, somebody's reading this. Oh, that's bad news.
But it really was rewarding for like the longtime fans. I mean, we've made so many friendships before we did this, and then just working with these people, like there's a real community of Savage Dragon fans that we've been talking for decades now. But it's fun to get together and play around, and thank you for that opportunity to get it published through Image. That I think, for a lot of people, it was super exciting to just have a fan book that's actually really published through Image Comics. I mean, we got a real thrill doing that.
Oh, cool. I was happy to do it.
In my family's eyes, it eclipsed my entire 24-year comic career. They were not impressed by anything I've done. I kickstarted successfully a book in 2012. That was neat, but they didn't really give a shit. This getting to go into a shop and be like, this is my brother's book. That was it. That was the one.
Nice.
It took a while, but I guess I made it, So.
There you go. You had a story in Savage Dragon, though, in the regular.
They cared about that, and what's funny is that I cared about that because that was an important issue, right? That's the death of Savage Dragon.
That's an awesome issue.
So I'm in that issue, and like it's hard to get, and so like I feel awesome about that. But they didn't give a shit. They didn't care. They were not impressed. They were impressed by this, but they weren't impressed by that. It's weird. Okay. Family is weird. Family doesn't know shit. What do they know? They're not going to hear this. Fuck them.
That backup story is so funny too when you think like how long ago it seems now, because it was like, oh, Angel and Thunderhead might be an item, and then it's like, nope, not her.
Yeah.
There is another.
Yeah, I'm all over the place.
I remember when you sent me that plot synopsis. You're like, Angel and Thunderhead are at a cafe and draw them kind of flirty. They're kind of having a flirty conversation. And as a reader, I was like, ooh. Nowhere. It went nowhere.
It's like,
false lead.
Where's he going with this?
That was a perfect time period for you, Raven, too, with like, oh, you can draw her nude. Like, that's right up your alley. Like,
it worked out great.
That strip was like perfect for you.
Thank you.
Fun times.
So, with Savage Dragon, I know we got 263. Looks like it features Mako, who we affectionately call Fako because we can't accept him as Mako, even though he's.
Oh yeah. He needs to do something to really distinguish himself from the original guy if he's to do anything. So he's killing and eating a lot more people than.
Oh, he's a psychopath.
Yeah, he's definitely crazy. I mean, that does make him different.
He jacked up our boy Roughneck.
Oh, Roughneck.
What is with you and Roughneck, Eric? I mean, the guy is such a funny character, but you use him all the time. Like, of all your VC guys, he always shows up. He's awesome, but what is?
He's just fun to draw. And that's what it comes with a lot of these guys. Like, I need to fill somebody. Oh, doubleheader. Here we go. It's like,
wasn't Roughneck kind of like a make fun of Dave Johnson screws and stuff like that?
Yeah, that was his whole reason for existing in the first place. Is Dave Johnson's fascination for screws.
It's hilarious.
He used him in an issue of Wildcats.
Did he?
Nice.
Yeah. There's one of those Alan Moore backup stories. He's in the Clark's bar drinking a beer or something, and then he's surprised and all the screws fall out of his head. It's pretty cool.
He's such a random character with his like patriotic pants. Like it makes absolutely no sense, but it looks cool.
It's such a mishmash of just randomness. It's like, is that line permanent on you? What's going on with that? I don't know.
It's funny how like some of your like the characters that stick are the ones that are kind of like seem like they were just kind of knockoff spoofs, like the Creator or She-Dragon, Roughneck, like just little kind of funny like one-off things that for some reason or another like they come back and they work for, I don't know.
Yeah, some reason some characters kind of take on a life of their own for whatever reason. It's like, oh, I found this character's voice, where some of the other characters, I like at this point with Dragon's kids, like I could write Amy Dragon all day long.
Yeah, she does seem to be the one we see the most of now.
Right, but it's like, okay, now you got to put some words into the mouth of Jackson. It's like, okay.
Jack seems to be the one we see the least of.
Who?
Jack. Yeah.
Jack. Yeah. Like, all right.
It seems like you're giving them all like their own, trying at least
he
give
went
them
climbing up the wall and was being Spider-Man, so he got to at least be a little bit of a Hellraiser, but
you got to give him like the Ninja Turtle personalities, right? The super smart one, the fun one, the leader.
Taking it to Faco, was it hard to let Braun go? What an awesome bad guy. I never saw it coming. When Faco stabbed him in the neck and he bit the dust, I was like, God damn. He went out like a champ. But I mean, if he was my character, it'd be hard to kill him off.
Some of these big like scenes is like, I know I was getting rid of a lot of like real B-C list waste of space guys, but it's like if I just get rid of B and C guys, it kind of takes away the gravitas of the whole situation, It's like, oh, so we lost a bunch of guys we don't give a shit about. Who cares? But and that's why I'm like, I got to take out some heavy hitters here.
Yeah, we lost Braun, we lost Chaos Control, we lost Insect there at the end, and of course we lost Anne and we lost Tortoise. So it was a freaking bloodbath this issue.
Yeah, it was a bloodbath.
Crazy issue.
Braun was huge, man. Though he survived the dragon blood. I mean, that guy was, in my book, top notch.
Yeah.
One of the top 10 moments when the blood just comes out.
Yeah, we
of his
still
eyes.
talk about that. Squeezing the blood out of his eyes.
I was like, he's so badass.
Keeping me except for being bit in the neck and a horn shoved in my throat. I don't know.
I was quite surprised. What's that?
Gotta be done. Gotta do it.
I definitely felt like it was a huge, like, for me at this time in the book, like, all right, Horridus, like, she died. I felt like maybe it was time. I was surprised by Anne, but I was super, super surprised by Insect because I felt like you were going somewhere with her relationship with Barry, and then it was like, wait, what? What the hell?
Well, it's a cliffhanger. We don't know how it ends.
That's true.
Yeah,
we don't even know what her power is. Maybe she can like regenerate organs.
You can always hope.
He's got this other head growing out. Sorry. You thought you'd done me in, but guess what? Get away from me. But I love you. Oh, that's worse.
It's definitely been a lot of shocking deaths. Like the Dart one totally was like, wait, she's dead? How? What? Like you expect her to go out in some huge superhero battle, she gets shot. Then Samurai Insect, what's going on? It'll be interesting to see. I mean, just a lot of craziness with the vicious circle, and I feel like they've been in the book for a while, like back and kind of like just hovering around, and they kind of attack and then they pull back, and then a bunch of guys die and then they regroup.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it kind of felt like, all right, these guys have run their course. They've been around too goddamn long. It's been 30 years. Time to get different criminal organizations going. Something, something over here. Let's do something over there. Let's try some different shit out. So I'm still trying to figure out where I'm going with some of this shit, but I'll get there. And then meanwhile, is he ever coming back to Chicago? Because I really like Chicago. So.
Forget it. He was, but not now.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it, but not anymore.
You ruined it.
Yeah.
Did you really get that? Like, it's weird that people have such an attachment to a setting. Like,
well, people have attachments to all sorts of shit. It's like, when's Dragon coming back? Oh, I like Malcolm, okay, but when's Dragon coming back? He is the guy. It's like, he could not have had a more definitive death. He blew up and he's in heaven. It's like, what can I do?
Well,
here?
You gotta realize
that he's really gone.
I don't think people will believe it. I mean, you read Marvel comics and DC, anyone comes back. It might take a while, but they'll come back. So
it's nonstop. It's never ending. And even if he did come back, it'd be like, oh shit, now he's a 60-year-old man. That's not as cool. I want him to be, could he be young and vital and still doing all this crazy shit? It's like, no, it's set in real time. You don't understand. Everybody's getting older. That's the whole gig. They're all trudging towards death. All right.
This daily reread has really driven that home. I couldn't believe how little amount of time he spent as a cop over the course of 30 years.
Oh yeah. He's hardly a cop at all. But you have to understand, when I created this character as a little kid, he was never a cop.
Right.
So it was like he was like the guy who was in charge of the SOS, and even that he was not that for very long. And then he was a guy raising a daughter on his own, and that's where I left him. He was family guy raising a daughter, and that angel was his actual daughter too. That wasn't that wasn't some random dude's daughter. That was Dragon's actual daughter. And same thing with whoever those kids are.
Oh, the Johnson twins.
The Johnson twins. Yeah, is it Mark and Peter? Is that it?
Yes.
Christ. Crusader and something.
Well, and that's the thing too. It's like, people want the Dragon back, but I'm super excited about Paul because it's kind of like you get to have your cake and eat it too. Like we get kind of a version of Dragon back, but we've got this new character that's pretty intriguing to me, and I'm like super stoked for 2 issues from now when we, cover copy the origin of Paul.
Get all the back stuff.
I don't know how much of that.
Which I'm just like, I'm trying to sort it out in my head because. I mean, in reality, all those stories took place in the 70s, but it's like, I can't have that. Otherwise, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that William Johnson would be around and exist in the 70s, given how old he is in this universe. And so a lot of those pieces, like, you know, looking at what went on in Megaton and going, oh, does this fit? It's like, God, I really can't have Reagan be president. There's just
I don't think it
like,
has to make sense personally. Just there's a time discrepancy between the timelines. I mean, that's all you really gotta say.
You know, there's a blip. Earth was frozen for 20 years, so it was the 70s later than it should have been. And then it got frozen again. It's like, fuck, whatever.
Everyone has bell bottoms on.
What's going on with all the bell bottoms? Well, we thought it was cool at the time.
Do you are you thinking like a lot of flashback type stuff in that issue?
Yeah. It'll mostly be that.
That's going to be so
It'll
awesome.
mostly be like flashback, and then towards the end, it's when it starts dovetailing into the stuff we're familiar with, and it's like, all right, I got it from here on out. You're part of the SOS or whatever. It's like, yeah, I read all the back issues. This happened. Okay, fine. But here's the part where it doesn't make any sense.
Is it tough not having all those original comics to work off of, just going off of your memory?
Not really.
No.
I mean, if I had them, I'd be like, God, these things suck. I forgot how much they suck. But it had been a few years since I had even thumbed through them when my house burned down. So it had been, because I wasn't prepping to do Savage Dragon at the time. I was just doing Spider-Man. So, you know, there was really no reason to be referring to any of those things. I wish I had. But I did like a couple different 100-page issues back when I was a little kid. You're like, oh, this is awesome. I'll do a 100-page issue. Oh, he's fighting Superman. Oh, he's doing, and I'd use, you know, all sorts of unauthorized guest stars. And then I would do like, here's this. I initially was gonna rotate it, like there'll be a Joseph Strange issue, and then there'll be a Dragon issue, and then there'll be a Star issue. And I got like 3 issues into that and going, nah, fuck this. I don't like those other guys as much as Dragon. He's awesome. They suck.
You made the right call.
But it's like so much of it, like, I don't know. It'll be odd to try and reconcile it because, like, Star is a different dude. He still happened to be called Chris Robinson, but he was like a white guy. So
well, my personal opinion is the differences is what makes it interesting to me.
Yeah,
it's an alternate reality.
I like the fact that the core of the characters is somewhat similar, but they are crazy divergent. I just find that to be interesting. But that's me.
All right. So it won't be exactly the comics I did as a kid because it kind of can't be.
Right.
But I'll come up with something that works.
They'll be just drawn on like white line paper, like
yeah, that'd be all drawn in fucking ballpoint pen.
Jim Rugg could make it work.
Because they were drawn on 8.5 by 11, folded in half, so the pages would be like drawn
super
smaller than real life and then blown up for print, so they look extra shitty. Like, oh, this is cool. Look how bad they look.
When you used to make your comics, did you also put in like fake ads and make your own bullpen and stuff like that, or was it straight comics?
Not as much, because they were so crammed in terms of space. There would be like shitty letters pages, but I was handwriting with a pencil, you know, like it was really tough to read anyway. So doing any of those kinds of things were kind of messy. I don't know. I wish I had them, but I know in my heart that they were terrible.
It's still cool though to look back at them.
It's still cool. I'd publish them. I probably would be like, hey, here's a whole pile of crap. People would be horrified by it all.
I'm not gonna lie, I would buy it. I would buy it.
I love Michel Fife posted a bunch of his old comics and then put a whole thread with people posting their childhood comics. I found them interesting as hell, like just no holes barred, like anything goes, like just craziness. Even like my kids' comics, I look at them and I'm like, this is actually pretty awesome. It
No,
doesn't
they're
make sense,
cool.
but who cares?
They are awesome. I know Mike Waringo did a bunch of them when he was a kid, and I kept saying, "You got to publish these. This would be cool." And I kind of was hoping that like once he'd pass it, his brother would be like, "All right, we're gonna publish this shit," and it'd be a fun project to just go like, "All right, we're gonna publish it, and then we'll get." Modern creators to everybody redraw a page that's from his layouts, and we'll use the dialogue exactly. So it'll be, here's the slick version, and then here's the crappy old version he did when he was a wee lad.
That would be an awesome, though, even like a collected book of like, pro artists and an issue, or whatever they had, just kind of a collection of, each pro artist and one issue of something they drew when they were like 10.
Alex Ross loves to share that shitty Superman he did when he was 5 and like put it next to the gouache painting that's all photorealistic. And he's like, keep trying. Like it's meant to be inspirational. Every time I see it though, I'm like, I love shitty kid Alex Ross.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I want to see more comics from that dude.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Superman's like,
I'm flying, but it's really difficult.
Have you, speaking of other artists and comics and stuff like that, one of the series I've really gotten into recently is that Radiant Black, and even like this kind of that massive verse with Rogue Sun and Dead Lucky. It's kind of fun that Image is getting like a superhero universe again, and more creators are just doing superheroes. I know in Radiant Black there was some background like Dragon on the TV or something. Has there ever been any talk about maybe a possible crossover or any interest in that with those guys?
I've given with anybody, and I've let Eric Stevenson know if anybody wants to use my characters and they're doing an Image book, they can do it.
Cool.
If it's an Image book and you want to have Dragon show up, as long as there's proper whatever copyright bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't care. Go ahead, use them. You want Dragon to show up? All right. He's been dead for 10 years, but here, use him.
Or Malcolm, whatever.
Yeah, I don't care.
But no, those books are super fun. Like I'm stoked that people, Image isn't getting away from superheroes entirely, and that there's still, these creators bringing these types of books that seem to be doing pretty well.
There's more of it. I hope there's more, because I do like that there's that sort of stuff. I don't know if I started dragging that stuff into my book, if people would be like, what? Where'd that come from? I don't know what that is. What the hell? Because there's always that when that shows up, and people are like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't read that book. What are you even doing? But no, it's cool. I like that a sense that it is a universe, and that if somebody's watching a cartoon in somebody other comics, like, oh, there's Guy and Dude exists here too. That's cool.
Yeah. There's a couple, like Jeff Johns has that with the Junkyard Joe and the Geiger series, which I don't know if that's going to continue. Seems like Junkyard Joe is going to at least, but that's kind of cool. Just having multiple titles, like it's fun for the readers to see that cohesiveness and.
Yeah, I'd like to do more. I'd like there to be more back and forth with different things, because that was one of the things I really loved about the early Image comics, is that everybody's always like just swapping shit, and it didn't have to even be a big thing, but it's like, hey, if there's a newscaster, why not have it be Sam Hayes, or why not have it be the people from that Spawn comic who never seem to get any older.
The Asian CNN gal.
Well, it is kind of weird that we have these like weird divergent timelines. So it's like, oh, Malcolm could meet Superman now, and he'd be the same age as Superman. Like, what the hell's going on here? Like, Angel was like this little girl in one of those, and now
Got his
she's
cape.
like, oh, I'm 28. Like, what? What the hell?
Great Caesar's ghost. It's interesting. Craig talks about like the shared image universe, like the superheroes mishmash, kind of making a return because people are actually old enough now that I saw a Twitter thread where, thanks to the Invincible cartoon, people are nostalgic for the Fire Breather animated movie.
Oh, yes, they are.
And so there's Fire Breather nostalgia, which feels like it came out yesterday, God damn it. So it's crazy to me that there's people like, I watched that when I was a teen. I love that. And I'm like, wasn't that like 2 years ago? Like, what the hell?
I thought Fire Breather was gonna blow up after that, and it was like, it got a little like nothing.
It has
I was like,
fans?
really?
The unfortunate thing
That's
is
such a good book.
there was a series that came out when the movie came out, and it never completed. It's an incomplete series, which is really disappointing. But
such a cool concept and just great art. It was, Andy's a great artist.
Teen superhero book. You'd think it'd have an audience.
Where is it? What's going on?
But he showed up in Dragon too. That was cool. Invincible. So
there's a synergy, that's what I'm talking about. That shared universe. It happened in the early Image boom. Like when it started, everybody was you and Rob and Todd, mishmash. And then we got a little sweet taste of it back with the Kirkmania, Fire Breather, Invincible, Dragon all crossing over. And then of course it went away. And I guess we're getting a little taste of it with Radiant Black and them, the Massiverse again.
Was there ever any talk with you, Eric, about maybe Dragon appearing in the Invincible cartoon? I know, like, they cut some things out. And
Yeah. He may show up.
He may show up? Oh, wow.
I don't know that he's going to be like
just like a background kind of
part of it, but like if the world's going crazy and all this shit's falling apart and Dragon was there initially, it's like, show up.
That will be awesome.
That's fine.
I think that would be great. I think that could, pique some interest for people that maybe don't know about him, because people go crazy over that show.
I used the World Tour Invincible Dragon cover to push that shit. I was like, hey guys, look at this. And people were like, wow, Invincible. Dragon met Invincible? I'm like, he sure damn did. Why don't you read this issue?
I post that cover to the Invincible War, like super fold out cover. People go, huh? Invincible met Youngblood? Huh? Like, people are kind of clueless about Image Comics.
Yeah.
Well, you got to realize that there's just this whole wave of Netflix or Amazon Prime viewers that never picked up a comic and watched The Boys and everything else.
Too. With all the Marvel superhero stuff, it's like most of those guys don't. Oh, they still publish those? I didn't even know they exist. Where do you get them? Fuck. The newsstand's been dead forever.
That's where I think Dragon would work best, like a animated series like that Invincible. That's what I think would be perfect for a Dragon series. Like, I would be most excited for that. But they did pretty well with Invincible. Like, they kept it pretty close to the book. Obviously, some changes had to be made, but I was pretty happy with the way that turned out, and I'm pretty excited if it all comes through. And like you say, maybe if Dragon shows up, that will be pretty exciting for us fans to see that, even if it's just a little background thing or small.
But yeah.
I was like, somebody sent me. I was like, oh, what? I was like, dude.
Yeah,
I was like, I gotta sell.
Nice.
So it'll be a new sell for us to collect.
Yeah.
I got a couple back here somewhere.
Except for you'll be bidding against rabid Invincible fans.
I can take them.
But that's exciting news. Wow, I didn't realize that. Are you thinking in this next season maybe, or has this been talks about like?
I know. He asked me at some point, and I said, "Sure, go ahead, use them." I don't know when that would be, or what, or if I need to, or if I need to sign off on it, or
It's possible. That's what's important.
I don't know. I mean, I told somebody they could use Super Patriot, and he just showed up. So who the hell knows? When it comes down to a lot of this stuff, I'm just like, I don't give a shit. Just do whatever the hell you want to do. I'm going to continue to do my comic. You know, can you show up? Sure. Do you need any money? No.
I feel like with Kirkman,
he's just as long as you guys aren't tying up the rights to my character by having him appear in a cameo. I don't care. Whatever.
I think especially with Kirkman, since he's such a fan, he knows the character. Like that's a no-brainer. Like if you can get some publicity out of that, that would be. I don't know. It would just be fun to see him interact with Invincible on TV.
Yeah.
Neat stuff.
Cool.
We'll go lobby now on Twitter since you're not on Twitter. We'll go.
Yeah, I'm not there. Sorry, guys.
Let's talk about that for 2 seconds because I think it's fun and it's funny and it's interesting. Do you feel like you have more? Colleen Duran talks a distant soil, dear listeners. Google it. But Colleen Duran, everyone knows. But she is super mindful of her social media and how it consumes her life so that she can be more productive. She uses a lot of timer apps or whatever else. Do you feel a little liberated not having to deal with Twitter all the time? It seemed like you had to deal with a lot of bullshit.
Nice, but I had pulled back a lot anyway because I took it off my phone when he had announced that he was taking over. Mm-hmm. A while ago. Mm-hmm. So it was like it wasn't there and in my face all the goddamn time. And then, so when this new thing came about and it was like, oh, and people are like, hey, you said you'd leave. It's like, oh, I'm gone. You thought I hadn't left? You're responding to some fucking book author. What the hell's wrong with you?
So no real difference. You'd already checked out, so it just wasn't even really.
I was coming in there and weighing in on a little bit of stuff. Mostly, here's the comics I was buying in the spinner rack. But once the spinner rack had been around for a year anyway, it's like you've covered every one of these days a year ago. So, I kind of felt like I'd let everybody know what I'd been reading when I was 12, so we got that all covered.
Was it weird to you finding yourself cited in like news sites and political articles and stuff? Was that a weird thing to just, hey, Eric, I saw you in the Washington Post?
I haven't really chased down a lot of those stories. Somebody did send me an email asking, and which is why I guess it ended up being in there. She's like, hey, did you leave? It's like, yeah. Gave him a couple quotes, and then he was like, oh, awesome. Yeah. Okay, cool. You got a story to tell.
Was that one of them was like Erik Larsen, creator of Spider-Man?
Yeah, right. Hey, this is what he's best known for Spider-Man. It's like, fuck. That's what I've been doing with myself.
But I read that, I was like, fuck you.
No, it is what it is. No. What, you're not watching Peacock? Savage Dragon's right there, man. Oh, yeah, I've seen your show, and it is terrible.
Jeez.
Oops.
I want to, I don't know if you guys want to go in this direction, but I want to talk about Ant. We haven't really talked too much about Ant.
We didn't get a lot of Savage Dragon this year, but we certainly got Ant.
You got some Ant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which has been kind of a bumpy ride, but all right.
How are you feeling about it?
Like, I just want to collate all this stuff. This happened and this happened and this. It's like, God damn it.
You still feeling like you're sort of going through those paces, like still trying to sort things out?
Not that much anymore. I don't think I'll be doing any more homages to Gully
Mario.
stuff at this point. I mean, it's getting the series had progressed to the point where it was getting the issues that I can't really deal with the characters anyway. Mostly what I want to be able to do is write it so that the earlier issue 12 works as this series is issue 12.
I told you guys that was the idea. I told you. They didn't believe me.
That's the only thing that I really like. Oh, I want to do this. But beyond that, I just got to build her up a little bit of a rogues gallery and have her deal with this Colburn dude again and whatever.
It's been a lot. It's been a lot of. I've enjoyed it. I've found it a lot of fun. Going through all these because I've never read the original series, so getting in this context is all new to me.
Same.
Yeah. My concern was that it's pretty jumpy in the first few issues, and then suddenly it gets to the dragon or the Malcolm spawn ant stuff, and then it's like, okay. Now we're just going on this ride. Here we go. So it won't be as jerky afterward, but she is kind of going on this quest to find stuff that we, the reader, are like, yeah, we know what the answer is. This is not a big revelation to us. We've read the previous issues. She'll be fine. But I don't know. I'm having fun with it. It kind of gets that get my Spider-Man on kind of stuff because I can do all my Spider-Man poses and do like that. So, oh, cool. I get to have a Spider-Man book again. This is fun. So,
yeah, that's very understandable. I mean, it is fun in that way, in that Spider-Man way. We're all really curious how the end of that crossover from her perspective is going to be different than what we saw from Malcolm's perspective.
Not enough, I'll tell you.
Craig.
I mean, there's the part where Spawn and Dragon kind of wander off to go yell at each other, where she's just going to be like, yeah, whatever. And then we'll see it from her point of view. Like she's just going and stealing a van. But other than that, it's like the fight that they have is the fight that they have. And the voiceover will be like, God, this guy's such a tight ass. Oh, doesn't he know this guy's causing all kinds of problems and needs to be taken out? But
we enjoyed on the last issue. You sort of got to doctor some of that dialogue, some of that McFarlane tinkered with dialogue came off a lot more natural through that Erik Larsen voice. The vein felt like it rang a lot more true. A thing that made us laugh is this sort of like he kind of wrote Spawn like a dick, and you kind of didn't. He kind of churched it up a little. Spawn was a little bit more of a team player.
Yeah. Well, from her point of view, he's just whatever she says. Yeah, I kind of went back to my original script, but then there was stuff that there were a lot of the original script had Spawn voiceover stuff, and it's like, well, this is all got to go, so I can't use that. And then, this page doesn't really work as the splash, so I need to redo that. Whatever.
Seem very exasperated still.
Yeah. Well, soon the pain will be over, and I won't have to deal with that. On to the next thing.
And so is the Ant books kind of going smoothly, or is it?
There's gonna be a break after 6, just because I'm farther behind on Dragon than I would like to be, and so I want to get some more Dragon done.
That's going to be super confusing when you get 6 and it says the end and then there's a break.
Yeah, no, it doesn't come out for a few months. Oh, oops.
Maybe you can put a little like disclaimer. The end for just now.
Put not the end as the next issue catch.
Well, there'll be a little still a next Colburn or whatever the hell. I'll leave there be something in there so you'd be like, oh, this continues, cool. So, oh well.
Well, we're looking forward to it for certain.
What have you found the reaction to be to Ant, like, because it's much different than Savage Dragon, and do you feel like you're getting other fans outside of Savage Dragon that maybe collected the old Ant series, or other fans that
not a lot of old Ant people showing up. In fact, there's not a lot of mail for some of those, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna deal with that once we get to a couple of those issues. I might have to do like that issue Dragons, like
the blank page.
The blank page. Here's what happens if you don't write in, fuckos.
That was a gut punch.
Yeah, that hurt.
Well, that's what do you do? At that point.
Are you interested in? You've gone sketchbook heavy and letter heavy. Are we gonna start seeing Ant backups or pinups from like guests?
I don't know yet. There have been people who've been asking if they could do something in the back of the book, and that may happen. That's a distinct possibility.
Sure, hell yeah.
But it does feel kind of weird, in a way, because it up to this point, it's like it's all my crap, including my coloring, to suddenly be like, oh, and here's a backup by some random dude. Like, oh, that seems strange.
No rules in comics, though.
Yeah,
you can do whatever you want.
Rules. I can do whatever the hell.
You're the emperor. It's your show.
Well, people do ask all the time, like, oh, can I do a pinup in your book? And can I do a backup story or whatever? So, all right. As long as it's not terrible, sure, whatever.
I do solemnly swear not to ask to put something of mine in your comics.
But the thing with Ant is it is supposedly for somewhat younger readers. I think it's a teen plus book, so fewer vaginas showing up. So with the backups, like, okay, you can't be saying fuck shit, everything.
Right, yeah. Same, the dragon rules don't apply here. You have to...
Yeah.
When I saw her in the skin tight red dress, I was like, fellas, does this seem all ages? Is Hannah too sexy here?
Teen plus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's teen plus. Like, come on, something for the kids.
Quote unquote,
Yeah.
the kids.
I mean, I was pretty much a teenager watching, reading Savage Dragon. Some of those scenes are pretty racy.
Right, you're a kid.
I made out all right. I did okay. I think. You might have corrupted me a little, Eric, but...
He's more perverse than he cares to admit.
All right.
Are you glad to see this year on its way out? You feeling good? Yeah, leaving this one behind. Seems like it's been a bear, man.
This just seems like one of your publisher years.
Yeah, it does kind of feel like that. I'm glad that this ultimate thing is behind me. I'm hoping that the subsequent volumes are not nearly the pain in the ass that this one was. They shouldn't be, because there shouldn't be all the recoloring and the other tampering that needs to go on.
Because there's got to be a point, even when we're doing this reread, there's got to be a point where it's like, okay, he definitely has the digital files for these. After that, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Issue 75?
Yeah, I would hope. I mean, it's just Image keeps moving around so goddamn much, and things get sent off to other countries, and somehow or other files get lost. But I think it's solid from here on out. At least I hope it's solid from here on out. God damn it. We'll see, like missing a cover here and missing that. But it's like I don't have all the original art, but Robert Kirkman's got most of the stuff that I don't have. So
Don Simpson was doing an art collection and had to get a piece from Craig.
That's right.
He was like, Craig, that's a real good piece. Can you send it to me?
Apparently, he didn't get rid of a lot of his stuff, and I got a piece off eBay at a decent price. It wasn't the greatest one, but he needed it, so he was nice. He gave me a sketch when he returned. I mailed it to him. He returned it with a sketch. It was pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
He's a nice dude. Hey, speaking of Don Simpson, is there any thought of putting that Megaton Man crossover in the Ultimate Collection just because of the She-Dragon appearances? And
there's a few pages that ended up finding their way into the first Dragon trade, and I just emulate that. But I don't do all
the full crossover.
Thing. I don't have. There's no Don Simpson art except for the cover is in the cover gallery in the back.
Oh, cool. I love his stuff. I mean, I liked it, but I gained a brand new appreciation for his stuff over the pandemic. Is that the dinner bell?
It's dinner bell to me. I don't know. Have we covered everything? If there's
I think we've hit every one of our topics that we intended to. So this is
yeah, absolutely.
If there's more, I can always go down a little late, but
no, I mean I think we just always appreciate your time, and
we do.
Yeah, for sure.
You think hopefully maybe we'll get some more Savage Dragon issues in the new year and things will normalize a little bit.
That's the plan. I need to. There's a couple little hurdles I need to get over, but then I got a different place I want to go with stuff. So
awesome.
We are rooting for you.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying, Toronto isn't forever. I'm just going to leave it.
Wow.
Nice.
Ooh.
Big scoop there.
Scoop.
Awesome.
So eventually we'll be doing something else.
I just want to throw it out real quick, Craig. We've been doing the daily Savage Dragon reread for the 30th anniversary. Every day we read an issue, and goddamn, Erik, dude, be proud. I mean, I don't know. I see you kind of seem like you don't give a fuck too much about anything. You're like, yeah, whatever. But like, just take a moment to drink it in. I mean, that is like thousands of goddamn pages of quality reading. I keep waiting to hit
it does add up.
It's shocking. And what's crazy is it's shockingly good and shockingly cohesive. I mean, I know that you say you just make shit up all the time. It just doesn't feel like it.
There's definitely stuff that it was like, all right, I had something definitely in mind, and I know where I'm going with this, and then I'm going to pay it off. And then there's other stuff where I second guess myself. There's two reveals that kind of suck because I second guess myself and go, oh, I'll do this instead. And it was like, God damn it, that was a bad idea. And one was mutation. It was always supposed to just be Gertie. This pulling in a second person as part of it was sort of a last minute stupid thing to do. It was supposed to just be Gertie going, fuck, now's my opportunity to be with Dragon. This will be great. Because she was just like her ugly friend.
Right.
So, and then the other was the Overlord reveal was kind of a bullshit thing too, because it was supposed to be Powerhouse.
Oh. I mean,
What
it kind of
world?
makes sense based on his point of view as a character, but I think Flash
Yeah,
Mercury
well, it's
was
like
fun.
when I thought about it afterwards, like, wait a minute, he killed a dude. I don't know that Flash Mercury would kill a dude. That seems a little out of character for him.
Yeah.
Whereas Powerhouse was like kind of team bad there for he'd be whenever there'd be vicious circle shots. It's like, I'm here too, guys. So I may at some point go acknowledge that they were like switching off and on in the costume, just like sometimes it was me and sometimes it was you. I may just drop that in some dialogue at some point.
Wow.
But because it was supposed to be it was supposed to be him. And then I was like, hey, wait a minute. It could work as Flash Mercury. Yeah, except it doesn't, you idiot.
Oh man.
It felt like it worked.
Yeah. Now I got to go back and reread this.
But I just did, and it felt
Just
like
ruined it.
Well,
It's
there is a scene where it's like we see Powerhouse and you see Overlord in the same scene, so it's like, well, it's clearly not Powerhouse, but that
Doesn't
that
mean
was
they're not
just
switching
it's
off.
supposed to be like a.
I mean,
red-
I do recall Flash Mercury showing Glee when the creator was killed.
had that killer instinct.
Oh well. there you go.
I'm just saying, you just be amazed. Like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Maybe
Well,
you
the
would feel that way.
thing that always gets me when I do a reread would be, God damn it, I use that phrase a lot. You know, or it just keeps coming back again and again. It's like, oh, fuck. Do I really have nothing else? Then I don't know, whatever it is. Let's do it or whatever. There's an off, you know, or there'll be some phrase that I use in my own life. There's a whole mess of something, you know, and it's like,
Yeah.
that's not something that is in everybody's. Everybody doesn't say that, you know. It's sort of like those weird scenes where some random person is calling Spider-Man web slinger, and you go, wait a minute, is that a common thing for everybody to know this thing? That seems a little odd. You all are in on this weird nickname.
I definitely have picked up Erik Larsen phrases just from reading 250 issues of this book. I can't name off the top of my head, but I know there's certain things I say, and I'm like, that's from Erik.
You've called Jim a milksop many times.
I often use dunderhead in casual conversation.
All right, my job is done. All right, well, I'm going to go grab some dinner, guys.
All
Thanks.
right. Well, thank you so much.
And
Thank
really,
you so much.
anytime you want to have me on this thing, I am super happy to be part of it.
Awesome.
So
Thank you.
You guys are doing a great job, and you know, you made an awesome comic for me too. So
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, guys. Talk
Good
to you
chatting
later.
with you. Wow, what a fantastic interview. Always a pleasure and an honor to speak with Mr. Erik Larsen himself. You, Jim, you, Craig. I just want to be a little sentimental in our 30th year of Savage Dragon, in our 10th year of the Savage FINcast. Let me just say it has been a pleasure and an honor to get to do these reviews with you fellows. As I do the reread daily, I have started to hit issues where we covered them before together, and oh baby, the memories. It's just been fun. It's been a lot of fun. A crazy journey. I can't believe the places this little show has gone.
Was it in November when we started the FINcast?
I think it was. Let me
So this is
check
basically
the facts on that. It says here, episode 0 went up November 2011.
There you go.
November 13th.
10 years. We're old bastards.
Or old ass fucking broken microphones. That episode is atrociously bad.
Can you believe that this show is now older than some people's kids?
It is now older than Connor Tierney.
Is it?
He's only 9, dude. He's only 9.
Connor, you're so talented, young man.
I kid. We love you.
Yeah, it's been fun though, guys.
How about those scoops that Erik just dropped on us at the end of the interview? Like, wait, what?
Just pulled him out of nowhere. Pulled him out of his hat.
I could talk about that powerhouse revelation for hours.
It's shocking.
Well,
And
not
the
shocking.
best
I mean,
FINcast.
that's kind of what I would want to talk about is that I think a lot of people predicted it was Powerhouse early on. The swerve to Flash Mercury was surprising.
Not to me. I don't remember that. Do you remember that, Craig?
I think so. Yeah, it's been a while, but I think I felt like it had to be Powerhouse or something. And I think like you said, that he made that change just because too many people, I feel like maybe were onto it.
Damn, I don't remember that at all. Flash Mercury makes so much more sense. He's a human dude.
Well, So is Powerhouse.
It's the same thing. Powerhouse and him are the same, almost like
They both wear masks
power.
that turn them into superheroes.
What would happen if they gave each other's masks? Do you think?
That is
Would
the
it work?
secret lore that needs to be written.
superhero docking.
What if they
Do you
wear
think
them?
that's why they're friends? They want to be mask friends.
Do they swap off with? Never mind.
I like having video. You could see the little twinkle in Jim's eye when he said that. The little evil twinkle.
It was more sinister for sure.
No, but that was great. I mean, the big one is all of a sudden he was just like, yeah, they're probably not going to be in Toronto much longer. Like, what?
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? You think they're going to New York, or you think they're going to DC where Angel is? Isn't she in DC?
New York? What? Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Oh,
I mean-
okay. You just threw it out there. Okay.
No, yeah, I'm just saying, like,
Okay.
or are they just going to go back to Chicago?
I don't think they'll go back to Chicago.
Chicago's been freaked out.
I feel
so
like
technically, no
It's
reason.
got to be a big city, right? Because you got to have a lot of different villains and crazy scenes and stuff, right? So
Wouldn't it be crazy if it was rural?
Maybe they'll go to
Yeah.
space.
Space. You know what's funny? Rural would be a new direction for Savage Dragon. I don't think we've seen the country in that book at all. Space we've seen.
no, we have Horridus. That
Oh,
scene, right?
You're right. The grass is all tall. I think there's
Yeah,
even a
this-
wagon wheel, if I remember.
Larson trees.
Yeah. Wow. Hortus the hayseed died of COVID. Makes sense. I don't know, Craig. DC makes sense. To follow Angel makes sense.
Right? I feel like it does. Otherwise, she's got to keep coming up to visit every once in a while to stay relevant to the book.
And you got to think she's going to poop out a kid as soon as she hooks up with Frank. So, I mean, it's real time, dude. Everybody's always having kids in Savage Dragon. Always.
Yeah.
Everybody has a kid. Rex Dexter didn't have a penis and had a kid somehow. I'm saying
Science. Science.
he scienced one up. But yeah, I feel like the book going wherever Angel takes them makes sense. Although, fuck, it could be some alternate reality shit, dude. Paul could, like, end their multiverse or something. Who knows?
I just didn't see that coming because of North Force and stuff. I felt like that was getting built up, and now
Yes.
it's like, all right, peace out.
And the vicious circles up there? Like, they moved to Canada.
Well,
Yeah.
the vicious circle situation seems to be possibly
Fizzling
coming to a
out.
head.
Yeah, but still,
they're all gonna get 8.
I'm just saying, can you imagine that your rogues gallery moved to where you were and you just move away? God damn, Maxine, let's get out of here.
Well, maybe it's the Rogues Gallery disappears before he moves away.
Never know. It's wild. That was a big
That was a big
pipe
bomb
bomb.
to just drop at the end. Like, what? What?
Yeah, all casual. He also dropped the bomb that Dragon might show up in Invincible.
Oh, yeah, right. The cartoon.
Right. Just
That
like,
would
yeah,
be fantastic.
I wouldn't get too excited about that.
Yeah.
I mean,
He
it's
said he
probably
had
going to
a-
be very. If it happens, it's going to be minor, and where it happens is a question. There's no definite if it's season 2, 3, 4. Probably
Well-
whenever Invincible War gets some kind of adaptation. My guess is
gotta-
season 3.
Also, imagine that he would have gotten something to sign off on if it was going to happen. And if he hasn't, then
Yeah, it's more he told Kirkman, "Do it if you want. If it
He made
happens, keep me in the
seem
loop."
like- yeah, he made it seem like it was happening though. But then the more we talked about it, it was like, oh, maybe not.
well, you never know if he can't talk about
Oh
it.
yeah, you probably absolutely can't give any details.
Could be like an NDA or something.
That's true. Well,
Honestly, I'm shocked he told us as much as he did.
Yeah.
it would be fucking fantastic if he showed up next season.
Dude, if he showed up and he just looked right in the camera and it zooms in on his face and it's like Jim Cummings' voice and he's
Sure.
like
Let's trip the light, fantastic.
it's you made trip the light fantastic punk. And Mark Grayson just cuts to Mark Grayson. He's like, okay. Let's.
Relax, buddy.
Whoa, officer. Whoa. Let's not trip the white fantastic, if we will.
It'd be awesome if it was like him, Alex, and Gilroy.
Yes, dude. Animated Alex? Fuck yes. Yeah. I mean, crazy pipe bombs. That was a crazy interview. Crazy ass interview. Ant, he's almost done with the collecting of sort of previous events, and he's ready to sort of move. That's a Craig direction fulfilled.
Yes, please. Let's just move on.
Yeah. I mean, but dude, listen. I can't wait to see what the fuck he does. He said the magic word, build up the rogues gallery. Dude, I've been waiting for some new Eric goons. Like, that's the thing with the Malcolm era, is there's like been no definitive goons. It's like, I can't wait to see him whip out some villains for Ant.
Same. Well, I think there's a lot to look forward to in the new year. We kind of had a bummer of a year in terms of, Erik Larsen releases, but obviously he's been working behind the scenes on, stuff, and seems like he's getting his stuff back together. So I'm looking forward to the next year.
I didn't want to bring it up in the interview, but as someone who is having to go through old shit right now myself, god damn, it's a nightmare. It's just such a slog. It just slows you down, and yeah, it's no one. It kills.
What are you doing it for?
Print collections.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Yeah, and what's funny is I'm not even going back like 30 years. I'm saying the nightmare.
Listen,
all my
Raven,
stuff's on hard drives. So
gradient fills are something we all go through. Lens flares and dodge tools. You gotta play around.
Replace this star field. Maybe I move this polygon off this chin. That's been bugging me for years.
Did you see my webcomic I posted as your counter example? You saw it? Okay. Just remember where the rest of us are.
Well, I'm just saying it. Sometimes you go back and you're filled with nothing but regret. And you're just like, how do I, like, at what point do I walk away? Like, do I really walk away? Do I really leave this like this? Yeah.
Like, you got to preserve that stuff in amber.
I don't know, man. Some of in the reread, what's so funny is in the reread that I'm doing right now, sometimes I see stuff and I'm just like, oh, goddamn, if he had the ability to fix that, I know he would. Like something just being miscolored.
I'm sorry. I've been actually a little mixed up. I thought you were talking about like the side stuff, like not the actual comics themselves, but rather the like the banners and like the portrait stuff like you did for your websites and that sort of thing.
Oh no, I mean in terms of everything, going back is hard. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I can see that.
Going back is hard. When you look at your old shit, you're just like, god damn.
And this isn't your oldest shit, right? This is when you actually, because you had done the comic previously and then you came back to it.
Yeah. I'm not going all the way back. I'm not going 25 years back. I'm just refused. No, I'm not going back as far as he's going back, but I'm just saying, even just to go back like to 2008, I'm just like, oh, goddamn. I want to redo everything. I want to shape this up. I want to make this look. I'm a better artist now. It's just tough. It's tough to not George Lucas the fuck out of it. Because you want to.
I have seen, I'll tell you this much for $1. I have seen collections where the artist does go back and tries to touch it up with recoloring or touch it up with inking or other things, and it always is obvious. It always
Brian Boland, The Killing Joke.
Yeah, that's a good example of the color just absolutely ruins that original intent. Because it's a product of the 80s and you tried to make it look like the product of the 2000s and it does not work.
Yeah, you can't go back. What's funny is even when Eric was sharing on social media the comparisons of the original Dragon miniseries and then the recolored and then putting them all three side by side.
Right.
People were like, I like the old stuff better. The garish, like really like bright. People were like, I like the old stuff better, and I'm just like, he's not gonna do it because it doesn't match current Savage Dragon like fucking at all.
No, not at all. And as he said, there's just so many weird anomalies that were not even intended.
Yeah.
I mean, so to make the George Lucas comparison, Erik is removing like the ghosting behind the green screen stuff. He's
Right.
not putting in the fucking CGI Wampa.
Fair. I don't know. It was a crazy ass show, guys. It was a crazy ass show.
Yeah. Shall we wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up. Tell them where they can email us.
If you have any questions, comments, you want to add anything, you want to praise us for our smooth talking, and I don't know. I guess, are we going to post video on this episode or no?
No, I didn't record it, so
Okay.
no.
So they can't.
You can't
praise
see
us
our
for,
our faces.
our good looks.
That's good because look what I'm doing.
Anyway, yeah, write in. Let us know what you think of the show. Let us know what you want to hear more of. And if you have anything else to say, just email us at savagefincast@gmail.com.
Thank you, fellas.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.